What up, YouTube? I'm back again with another live video. I don't know what happened. All I know is I did mention that I don't own the copyrights to the both songs I used in the previous video. I did a reaction to Be Careful by Sparkle featuring R. Kelly, and then I also did a reaction to When the Woman Set Up. Um And once again, I did mention I do not own the copyrights to neither song. It's just for reaction purposes only. But YouTube decide that they want to do what they want to do, and I didn't think that they would try to copyright ban my video, especially with it being relating to R. Kelly. So since they want to be pains in the ass, I decided to take the time to do another R. Kelly video where I'll continue to read this book I have called Soulacoaster. Hold on. I'll be right back. I'll be right back. My bad, YouTube. I had to throw something in the trash. But anyway, like I said, excuse me. I was trying to do a reaction video. As many people do music video reactions, and as many times as I paused it, I don't understand why YouTube still decided that they're going to try to ban my video. Because number one, I didn't think they cared for R. Kelly. Number two, not a lot of people are doing R. Kelly reactions. They might do certain music video reactions to songs that he may have been featured in, but not some of his actual songs. And I did too. I did Sparkle's song "Be Careful" featuring him, and then I did "When the Woman's Fed Up," and they decided to wait until I was playing "When the Woman's Fed Up" to give me this warning saying that I'm using copyright songs that belong to someone else. But when other people do reactions, there's no problem. I do a reaction, there's a problem. YouTube is show favoritism like a motherfucker. So to get back at y'all, I'm deciding to read this book here by R. Kelly. Soulacoaster, The Diary of Me. And so if anybody remember where we left off, if anybody pay attention to my videos of me reading this book, the last chapter was him speaking on one of his music teachers, Miss Lena McLean. I believe she appeared in the Surviving R. Kelly documentary. But anywho, uh, for those who probably haven't watched my live streams reading this book, because I know I've been taking breaks here and there, please feel free to. I do apologize if the first couple of chapters that I read aren't uploaded. I thought they were. Um, but one thing I did mention is there are a lot of pictures in the book I'm not showing. And another thing is I don't feel like going all the way back to reread the chapters. Please feel free to get a copy of the book if you have any interest in reading this book about R. Kelly speaking on his life. This actually is my second time buying the book because I had it years ago and I don't know what happened to it or so forth and what have you. So I decided to get me another copy. Um, Anywho, so this chapter is called "Ribbon in the Sky." Please excuse me, my nose is a little stuffy. Um, Hold on. By the end of ninth grade, Miss McLean told me I was ready to enter the school-wide talent contest. I was still too shy and wanted to wait, but she insisted. She said I could practice it in our class before I sing it in the auditorium in front of the whole school. But even in my music class, my shyness had me acting strange. It was Miss McLean who handed me a pair of sunglasses and told me to put them on. And it worked. I pretended to be Stevie Wonder. It was easy because I was doing his Ribbon in the Sky. My classmates encouraged me. They gave me the confidence to sing before the entire student body. On the day of the contest, I wore the shades. I even had my friend Larry Hood guide me on stage like I was blind. I was still too shy to look at the audience and sing. Charles Craig accompanied me on piano. When I got to the line that says, "There's a ribbon in the sky for our love," the screaming started. The screaming got out of hand. I was afraid that I might start a riot, but I was also overjoyed. Girls were screaming for me. Everybody was screaming for me. That's the day, like Peter Parker, I got bit by the spider, a music spider. If Peter was Spider Man, I became Music Man. Oh, excuse me. I got a feeling that day that I had never gotten on a basketball court. I felt love like I never felt from anyone except my mother. This time it was coming from 500 people in the auditorium, but it felt like a million people to me. I wanted to experience that feeling again and again. I had taken a chance, got my courage up, and earned those screams. I earned the audience love. That feeling of connection began to replace a lot of the darkness. It eases the shame still felt inside. I went from feeling out of place to thinking that maybe, just maybe, this was the reason I graduated. Maybe this school was exactly where I was supposed to be. Miss McGlynn saw me as a winner and did everything in her power to make sure I saw myself the same way. But I couldn't. No matter how good it felt to make music, I couldn't get away from the fact that I was at the very bottom of my class in a school where hundreds of kids were reading their books and finding their way. I was lost. History, geography, science, and literature, they all require reading. I started to wear the sunglasses all the time at school, hiding behind them, hoping no one would see me, call on me, or realize I was even alive. I walked down the hallways, practically hugging the wall, dragging my head against it like I was crazy. I ran from the classes and started locking myself in a little room in the back of the music room. It was really just it was really just a storage closet no one used with a lot of junk in it. Some broken down chairs and an untuned upright piano. I went in there every day, basically just to hide. But while I was hiding, I figured I might as well try to play the piano. I wanted to show Miss McGlynn I could play the piano too, like Craig. I started messing around making these little two-finger chords. It was slow, but they sound good to me. Two fingers became two fingers and one bass finger on the other hand. That became three fingers, then four fingers. Bass became one finger, then two fingers, then so on. I kept it simple and I started figuring out melodies on the piano. I did this for a whole year. It was really how I started writing songs on the piano. By the end of that school year, I had so many songs I had learned and written on the piano. Miss McGlynn tried to figure out just how I was learning so quickly. She had no idea that I was practicing and teaching myself every day in that closet. On the negative side, I was ditching all of my classes and hiding out in the storage room. When the bell rang, I'd put on my dark shades, leave the room, and walk down the hallway like I was going to class, but then and turn around and go right back to the room. I never walked the hallways without my shades. I felt like they made me disappear. I kept my head down. I did this for a long time, and then I got caught. The school was about to kick me out. And rather than face my mother, who whooped my butt when she found out how much school I skipped, I decided to run away from home. I was feeling a little nuts. Somehow Miss McLean found out. what was happening and called me to her office. You got to stay in school, she said. You got work to do. I can't do my schoolwork. I said, I can't stay in school. You'll get help, Robert. I'll see you too. The principal says I'm beyond help. She told me that all of my failing grades in all these classes I skipped, she's throwing me out. I don't want to be there when my mother finds out. I wanted to be on the bus going to Alaska. I'll see the principal myself. Next thing I knew, Miss McLean took my hand and walked into the office of the principal, who was a take no prisoners kind of administrator. I felt like the scarecrow brought for an audience with the Wizard of Oz. I'm a little busy right now, the principal said. So am I, said Miss McLean. Busy training my best student to be an important musician whose influence will be felt the world over. My only problem, though, is that he says he's being expelled. He is. That's unacceptable. I cannot stand idly by. He needs an education. It's not like he's gangbanging or selling drugs. The boy doing his best. That's not what my reports say. Your reports are wrong. I should know. I'm his teacher. The other teachers don't agree with you. They share my view that Robert is not an acceptable student. Let me be direct, said Miss McLean. You always are, said the principal. Robert has failing grades, she defended. There is nothing more I can do. Well, there's something I can do, the teacher responded, standing up and pointing her finger directly at the principal. I can go to the press and tell my story. I can tell them that we have a musical genius at Kenwood who is being kicked to the curb. I can tell them the truth. Here at Kenwood, talent has blossomed, and this young man in question is brimming with talent. Your choice is simple. You see to it as he gets help, or I see to it that your treatment is reported far and wide. Well, if that's how you see it, Miss McLean, it is how I see it, she said. It's how it is. McMillan saved the day. I got to stay in school. It had taken a long time, but the turning point had arrived. Music, not basketball, became my calling. I saw that. I felt that. For the first time, I felt like I was being introduced to my true self. Meeting a real Robert was a profound healing for me. I dedicated myself to music. I also dedicated myself to helping Miss McGlynn in any way I could. I owe her everything. She took me all over the city. When they lit the big Christmas tree in downtown Chicago, she had me sing "Joy to the World." That night, I was on the news. When Oprah asked when Oprah asked Miss McGlynn to put together a choir, I was in that choir. One day, my mother asked, "Why are you spending this time with that woman outside school?" Because she's getting me on TV. She's telling the world about me. Last month, she even took me to her church, the Holy Vessel, where she's a pastor. She had me sing, and during her sermon, she even talked about me. How is a teacher going to be a pastor, too? Sometimes God put people in places where they live because Robert needed what? Sometimes God puts people in places where they live. Where they life. What? Am I? Hold on. All right, I'm gonna read this over. Sometimes God put people in places where they life because Robert needed a certain kind of schooling. Uh, where they need where what? Oh, I'm reading it. Hold on. What the hell? I'm sorry. I'm reading it. I read it all wrong. Anyhow, I'm sorry. So it says, how's the teacher going to be a pastor too? I don't know, but she is. Well, you don't need to be going to her church. We got our own church. You're my boy, not hers. The fact that my mother was jealous of Miss McGlynn being a part of my life made me love my mother even more. But Miss McGlynn was changing my life. She was giving me a future. I needed to keep going to her church. When she sat down and played the piano in church, for example, she had me sitting on a bench next to her. I was there to turn the pages on her sheet music. I couldn't read the music, but when it was time to turn, Miss McGlynn nodded at me. I turned the page perfectly. Everything I did for Miss McGlynn, I wanted to be perfect. Miss McGlynn wanted to take me to Memphis for a gospel convention. She was going to play, and she was going to have me sing. I was excited. Never been outside of Illinois. Never been on a plane. I was going to be able to learn a lot, see a lot, and be with the choir. You can't go to Memphis, my mother said, but decision's final, boy. It's too far from here, and God knows what goes on at that convention. It's a gospel music convention. You don't think gospel folk party? But Miss McGlynn will be watching out for me. Miss McGlynn this, Miss McGlynn that. Boy, all I hear you talk about is Miss McGlynn. I'm tired of hearing about that woman. I kept begging, but couldn't convince my mother to let me go to Memphis. Then one night, she came into my room and saw me crying. What's wrong, son? She asked. I just got to go to Memphis. I really do. I could see that my mother was moved by my tears. Finally, she said, well, let me just talk to this lady and see what she has to say for herself. Right then, I got a burst of joy and confidence. I felt like things were going to work out. A few days later, Miss McGlynn was in our kitchen talking to my mother. Oh my God. It's a damn fan, but I don't want to turn it off because I'm going to be high. I just had to meet this person who's got my son smiling more than I do, Mom admitted. I know I've been taking up a lot of your boy's time, Miss McLean responded. You sure have, and I know how much he means to you. He means the world. And I can and all I can say is that no one can or will ever take your place. You got that right. You are the person who first inspired his music, McLean continued, and I know that for the rest of Robert's life, you will continue to be his main inspiration. Glad to hear you say that. Well, it's the truth. Is sometimes God puts people in places where they need to be. I know the good Lord placed me in Robert's life because Robert needed a certain kind of schooling. And for that, I'll always be grateful to God. Praise his holy name. Amen. So what I'm saying is that Robert has a destiny. You're the main ingredient in that destiny. He was born of your flesh, and he contains all the music that God put in your heart. In a much smaller way, I'm also part of Robert's destiny. I was put here to show him certain things, encourage him in certain ways, and take him to certain places. I believe that Memphis is one of those places God wants me to take him. My mom started to answer back, but then at that moment, I felt her jealousy melting like an ice cube in the noonday sun. Soon they were talking heart to heart, mother to mother. A week later, I was on my way to Memphis. All right. So throughout this book, I see that Robert speak. I said Robert. That R. Kelly speaks on a lot of good moments, a lot of bad moments, and a lot of ugly moments. Throughout this book, most of the chapters I read is pretty much him speaking about his younger years up into his teenage years, his love for his mother, different relationships he had with different family members and family friends. He speaks on being a child who was forced to do certain things, like seeing prostitutes in his home. His mother was away, having to take provocative pictures and videos of these prostitutes. Then it gets to the point where he was assaulted by an older woman, and then later on, a man attempted to force him to do sexual things. He just speak about a lot in this book. He talk about his relationship with his brothers and other siblings and cousins and uncles and aunts and whoever else. Um, he talk about losing a girlfriend at a young age. She was killed. And now he's talking about his relationship with his mom and his now relationship with a music teacher who he's seen like a second mother because she helped him in ways that many other people probably couldn't. Um, Me personally, like I said, I know a lot of people don't like R. Kelly. They have their own opinions. And a lot of people probably gonna watch my video and criticize me for reading his book and just got finished reacting to two videos and whatever the case may be. And then there might be a lot of people that don't there pay attention to the live streams where I actually read this book or even speak his name. Me personally, what I can say is, not said this in plenty of other videos speaking about R. Kelly, is I don't support what he done to those girls. I don't condone it. I don't accept it. I have friends that have been in that situation. I probably had family members that been assaulted by grown men or whatever the case may be. I grew up in neighborhoods where people shared their stories with me. Like I said, I went to school and people share stories. So no. Um, Hell, I grew up in neighborhoods where I seen some of these men and seen them. Well, I didn't see them like I seen them pretty much flirt with younger women, but I don't think I really seen too much of them attacking a young woman. Um, as a matter of fact, one thing I can say is I did have a friend years ago where I was too young to fully understand, or I was one of those kids that had to mind my own business. But I did have a friend, somebody I was really cool with, and she was dating a guy who was way older than her. But that's a whole nother story. I'm not about to get into it. Anywho, with that being said, I grew up listening to R. Kelly music. I don't have to agree to what he done in his personal life and the decisions he has. That he decided to make. All I know is I don't know this man personally. I wasn't part of it. I don't agree with stuff like that. But at the end of the day, yes, I still listen to certain R. Kelly songs. Yes, I still watch his music videos. Yes, I got his book and I'm reading it. I don't own any of his albums. It might be some albums in that drawer with my season DVDs that got songs with him featured. But no, I don't have any of R. Kelly albums. The most you might hear his voice is I have Aaliyah's first album, AJ Nothing But a Number. But other than that, yeah, I don't have any R. Kelly albums. I just don't. The only R. Kelly thing I have is this book, and then Aaliyah's first album. But I listen to his music from time to time. I can't help it. I all my life I grew up listening to his music. And then you have a lot of people who will say, "Oh, I don't like R. Kelly. I don't listen to his music. Oh, if you still support him, then obviously this and that. Fuck out of here, because y'all listen to a lot of rappers and y'all support a lot of these musicians and public figures who done way worse than R. Kelly. Yeah, he's known for being a predator. Yeah, he had sexual altercations with underage women. Yeah, he got a sex tape where he used the bathroom on an underage person. And although I don't condone that, I don't accept that, I don't like men or anybody who do certain stuff like that. I'm sorry, but I still like some of his music. I think this is pretty much a good book explaining his life story from his own way. I don't know if most of this is true. I don't know. All I know is this is just something I got for Black History Month, and I just decided to read it whenever I feel like reading it. And I have a bunch of other books speaking on different people. I got Corinne Steffens books, Eve over there, Ja Rule. Who else? I got Mariah Carey, Rick James, Aretha Franklin. I got a few books about the lives of people. That's the type of books I like. I like reading people's life stories, especially me being a creative writer. Yes, I really do think it's a good book. Anyhow, please forgive me. My nose is a little stuffy. Matter of fact, before I get on to the next chapter, I'm gonna put it like this. So, like I said, growing up, the beginning of my music interest, like I don't really remember. Oh, excuse me. I don't really remember a lot of my. Um, I don't really remember anything about when I was younger, like me being born and raised and growing up in West Philly. It might be a few memories that I could think of, but it'll take me forever to fully get the full story and be able to share that story with y'all because I was so young. Like my earliest memories is Darby. Living in Darby, a lot of people had music around me. I always had strong interest in music. That's why I used to love watching music videos. I didn't care about cartoons and movies and TV shows and stuff like that. I could just sit in front of the TV, and if you had cable, I'm a big music baby. I love music. I could watch music videos all day long and won't get tired, and that's exactly what I do. I've been telling y'all stories like going to my great grandparents' house in Southwest, mom and dad, 7048 Sheldrake Place. They had Comcast. Whatever TV was available, I go in the room, whether it's a den upstairs on the top floor or whether it was a basement. And if I was able to watch TV, I could watch music videos all day long. Now, don't get me wrong. There were these times where like music videos wasn't playing on BT or MTV or VH1, so I probably put on Rugrats or Scooby Doo or something. But other than that, I love my music videos. I could watch them all day long. All you gotta do is give me cable, a laptop, a tablet, or maybe like a phone that I could use the internet on, or some type of desktop or something. I sit here and watch music videos all day long and never get tired. Um, and R. Kelly was an artist that a lot of people would play. They had his albums. I watch his music videos all the time. So I grew up listening to his music. And and the crazy thing about it is even though I did not like Be Careful growing up, um I still was able to listen to other songs. Like I wasn't terrified of him. It was just that was certain song that bothered me. I didn't like the song, nor did I like the video until years later when I just kept hearing it on the radio or hearing other people play it. It was kind of weird because like me myself, if I'm around family and stuff, it bothered me. But I'll be at school or somebody be playing in their car, or I'll be walking past and somebody playing it. I don't know. It was irritating. It was like trying to get away from a monster, and somehow that monster always find a way to appear, no matter how hard you try to get away from it. And then it just got to a point where as I got older, the song or the video would play so often, I didn't want to be over somebody's house or around certain people. And I'm over here acting scary. And they like, what the, like, this is just a damn music video in the song. What are you over here scared of? Um, and when it comes to when the woman's fed up, I never even knew that song had a music video. I lie to you not. I mean, yeah, I didn't see Be Careful play back to back to back to back to back. But I didn't know when the woman's fed up had a music video up until years later. Um, it had to be somewhere like around mid 2000s. Um, I might have still been living in Derby at the time, and I was over at one of our old next door neighbors' house, and we was watching y'all know BT Top 10 Countdown, the show that used to come on after 106 and Park, like around 7 o'clock. So we not no, that was 106 and Park. What was that damn show that used to come on where they have a collection of like 10 different. Yeah, it was kind of like 106 and Park, but it was another show that used to come on after 106 and Park went off. Well, whatever the name of that show was, that used to come on after 106 and Park. They used to also play music videos. They had a countdown where they had shown all R. Kelly videos. It was like a collection of his videos or whatever the case may be. And I'm just watching and watching and watching, and then next thing I know, when the woman fed up came on, and I thought it was Be Careful. So y'all already know me being a kid. I didn't like that song. It terrified me. So I'm already walking out the room. And I heard somebody saying, "This is not the song you think it is." I guess they found out the story about how I was terrified of songs. So they kept saying, "This is not the song you think it is." Then as I got older, and I said this in the previous video, as I got older, one of my teachers, rest in peace, Mr. Wilson, He had the R. Kelly. It was a R&B collection or something like that. It was an album. He also had a DVD that had a collection of his music videos. And when the woman's fed up was on there. So we like in our early teens, like that school allowed us to watch whatever we wanted. We used to watch Medea. We was watching What's Love Got to Do with It, Rosewood. We watched a lot of crazy movies back then. So he ended up the crazy thing about it, this probably was around the time that the whole sex tape scandal came out. Cause this like around probably like 2002, 2003 maybe. Anyway, so he had this collection of R. Kelly music videos, and we watching in the classroom singing along to the songs and stuff like that. And eventually, when the woman's fed up came on, now this time, okay, I understand that it's a music video for when the woman's fed up. I still didn't want to watch it because I didn't like Be Careful. And as y'all seen, when the woman's fed up is a continuation of Be Careful. So due to my childhood trauma of that song, I didn't want to embarrass myself in front of the whole classroom and they looking at me like I'm crazy. Like, what scares you about this song? So I end up turning my head away from the TV because I just sung along with every other song that played. Is me, a bunch of other students, the teacher aide, Miss Rose and Mr. Wilson. Like we just chilling. I'm singing along. Like I said, I was singing along to every damn song. As soon as When the Woman's Fed Up came on, I turned my head from the TV, and I'm just looking in the back. And the teacher, Miss Rose and Mr. Wilson, they was wondering why was I staring at them. But I wasn't actually staring. Like they were just standing in the back of me, so I'm just staring at whatever's in the back of me because I didn't want to watch the TV. So I just whisper like I hate this. I hate this damn song. And I just ain't pay attention to the TV until the video went off. But then as I got older, and I told this story before, I had to face my fear. So as I got older, I think probably like a few years later, I was in the computer room because we had a bunch of computers. They had the internet, and I mean everybody used to be on YouTube because this is when Facebook started coming out and MySpace started coming out and stuff like that. And I would go on YouTube just to watch music videos. So I was listening to a bunch of R. Kelly songs, and it got to a point where Be Careful will come on. It'll just be one of the music videos that pop up. So um, I just turned the volume all the way down. I had to watch the music video first because every time the music video would come on, I would run out the room. I would start screaming, crying like I was looking at the boogeyman or something. And my older brother and sister, they used to traumatize the hell out of me. My cousins, everybody who knew I was terrified of that song, they'd be smart asses and keep playing it. It's to the point that one time I cut the cord to the radio when we was living on Main Street. Um, I was mad because the song came on the radio, and my brother and my sister or whoever was around, maybe my cousins, they would turn the radio up real loud because every time it came on, I run to my mom and start screaming to the top of my lungs, and everybody be looking at me like I was crazy. So I got so mad that I took a pair of scissors and I unplugged the radio and I just cut the radio cord. Yeah, I got in trouble. I got a whooping, but I ain't care. And I like y'all want to keep on bothering me. I bet you ain't nobody gonna listen to no damn music anymore. And I chopped the radio cord. And that was probably the only radio we had in that room. But I was always doing something. I didn't chop the radio cord. I didn't climbed up the dresser because I was too short trying to change the TV for my little brother and broke my arm. I sure did. Now, the crazy thing about it is, I'm gonna tell that story. So the crazy thing about it is, when I lived on Main Street, we had this apartment, and the crazy thing about it is, the majority of the time, a lot of my family members would have to stay with us from time to time, or we always have little family events, and all the family would come over. And most of the time, it was family on my dad's side. All of them are tall. They ain't like 6 foot something. Still to this day, everybody, like majority of them are tall as hell. To the point that they gotta bend down a little to fit through the door. I mean, they tall as hell. They like 6 foot, 7 foot. I used to be jealous because I wanted to be that damn tall. They like basketball players. Even the females. My aunt Jackie tall. My cousin Jocelyn and I, we probably somewhere around the same size. My cousin Dawn, she kind of tall, but we probably around the same size. But yup, majority of my dad family, they tall as hell. So a lot of people was there, and I'm young as hell. I'm probably like 8, 9 around the time, maybe younger than that. So all the adults was in my mom room talking and conversing and stuff like that, and we in our own bedroom, and it was this big ass dresser with this TV, and I guess my little brother, the one that's in the Navy, my brother Little, Edward Jr., but his like the family name that I end up giving him was Little. Anywho, so he kept on begging me to try to change the channel on the TV. Me being the bigger brother, like yeah, we have an older brother, but I don't think he was there. And none of my cousins, they wanted to be probably nosy and listen to adults' conversation, whatever. Nobody wanted to help. So here I am, climbing up the dresser, trying my best to climb up high enough to change the channel on the TV, and the whole dresser and TV just fell on top of me. And I end up breaking this arm. I had a cast for a while, and I just remember once all the adults heard the TV and everything fall, it was just like a big boom. I don't know if I cried. I don't know if I screamed. I don't remember that much. But what I do remember is all the adults, they coming and wondering what's going on and what was the big bang. And everybody trying to act like they don't want to say nothing because they don't want to get in trouble or be blamed like they the ones who dropped the TV or stuff for me. So my dad and my mom, they like, what the hell just happened? And I'm telling they like my dad, he keep asking me to move my arm. Can you move it? And I'm just saying, no, 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 it hurt, it hurt, it hurt. So, I mean, I was able to move it a little bit, but it was hurting like hell. And I just kept crying like it hurt, it hurt, it hurt, it hurt. So I end up going to the doctors that night. I do remember them feeding me popsicles and stuff, and I had a cast for a while, and I had to get X-rays and all that other crazy stuff. Like I remember here and there. I don't remember the full story, but I still remember certain stuff. My sister, she mentioned it from time to time and be trying to remember, and a few other people, but I actually had a picture. We went somewhere, I don't remember where it was, but I actually had a picture where you could see my arm was broken. The picture. I don't know whatever happened to that picture. I don't know who got it. I don't know if the picture was destroyed due to us moving or from house to house or what happened. But I do remember us going somewhere and that's the only picture of me with a broken arm. But it pretty much was my fault because I was trying to help my little brother out and nobody else wanted to help. So I called myself climbing up the dresser and everything fell on top of me. At least I wasn't one of them badass kids climbing up trees and doing all that other stuff that everybody was doing. I was climbing up dressers. And then um some years later, when I was a lot older, when I was a lot older, this wrist got sprained. It was this arm that got broken. This wrist got sprained. So yeah, left arm got broken, right wrist got sprained, and this is my right in hand. So what happened to my right wrist is I think I told this story before. So telling it again, um, it was a student, and I'll say his name. His name was Thomas Rogers. He is from Trenton. I don't care. I there it go. It was a student named Thomas Rogers. He is from Trenton, and we was in the same classroom. And here's a student I really didn't care for. He was one of those students where I felt like he was a show off. I feel like he was a follower. He would see the way other students in the classroom acted and how they dressed and how they bragged about certain stuff. And he felt like he had to be a follower to make himself fit in. So he will try to find ways to pick on me every chance he got. And little did he know, I'm not scared of you. You could say whatever you want. Been there, done that. Already heard it. You could make your false accusations. You could do whatever you want. I'm with the big dogs. I've been in this classroom for a while, way before you even attended the school. I done been through the good, bad, and ugly of the Delta school. You're not doing shit or saying shit that I haven't heard and been through before. And then I have several friends at this school who I was cool with that had my back if I needed anyone to have my back. But I was old enough, like nigga, I don't need nobody had my back. I'll fuck you up myself. So one day, and I think he was trying to get his revenge. So one day we in the classroom and we was arguing about something. I don't know what it was. I guess he was probably trying to show off for the other students. We was arguing about something, and I had this teacher named Miss Carol. Big shout out to Miss Carol. She had my back throughout my brain surgery. She ain't want me fighting. She ain't want me arguing. Once she found out I was getting brain surgery, she was not playing with me. I swear, Miss Carol treated me like I was her son. I miss that lady. Like that was my best friend. Majority of the staff, Miss Carol was my best friend. She had my back. And I know I used to get the hell on her nerves, but she had my back no matter what. I was her black son. I swear. I forgot her last name. I don't have none of my school yearbooks, so I wouldn't be able to tell y'all. Anywho, but like I said, that lady, she had my back no matter what. She was not playing when it came to me. Um, but anywho, so she ended up standing in front of me, and like I said, she was a cool lady. She used to tell us about her boyfriends and her children, and how she used to be riding on bikes and stuff. And I will always be sitting there like, girl, I know good and damn well you wasn't on the back of nobody motorcycle. She wasn't playing. She loved sharing her stories. And like I said, she treated me like I was her black son. I miss Miss Curl. Anywho, so me and Thomas going back and forth arguing in the classroom, and people looking at it like he probably. I don't ever think he was older than me. He was just bigger than like weight wise. He was bigger than me. But yeah, I don't think he's older than me. I think I was older than him. Anywho, so he pretty much was showing off in the classroom, and I wanted all the smoke. So I'm like, I ain't scared of you. So we just going back and forth, throwing insults at each other. And Miss Carol was standing in front of me, trying to get Thomas to leave me alone. But I'm like, you ain't gotta stand in front of me, cause I'm gonna slap the shit out of him. So he ended up swinging, and I thought he was going to hit her. So I grabbed her by her. I'm standing in the back of her. She's standing in front of me. So I grabbed her by her arms and try to move her out the way because I didn't want her to get hit. And I just cocked my hand back and slapped the hell out of her. I don't know who broke the fight up. We never did fight, but I did slap him. I don't remember. Like I remember certain stuff, but like I said, I don't know if she broke the fight up. I don't know if any other teachers broke the fight up, but I did slap him. I think I probably was removed out the classroom, and he's removed out the classroom. I don't know. So days later, I guess he's still in his feelings because he got slapped, and we in the gym room, and I don't think we argued that day. I don't really remember. So we're in the gym room, and he pushed me in our gym room. Like I wish I had some type of video or some pictures that I could show y'all or something. We had a wild ass gym room that could have been a cafeteria. That's where we did gym at, all of our assemblies, any school events. Every majority of everything happened in the gym room. I really wish I could show y'all what the gym room was like. I probably have to go to hold on, let me see. I'm gonna try to find some pictures to give y'all a little glimpse of what the gym room must have been like. Hopefully, I can find them. All right, so I'm gonna just quickly share this picture. So this is our gym room. That's just half the gym room. See, y'all can only imagine what the whole gym room looked like. And this is actually just somebody I went to school with. This is their graduation day. I've been left the school before this year. So anyway, that's pretty much what the gym room looked like. I'm trying to find some other pictures. Yeah, I don't know if y'all they gonna show y'all any other pictures of what. So y'all see how the floor look, right? Y'all see how the floor look, right? Hard floor that's painted. So anywho, we're in the gym room, and I think we were just coming in, and this kid named Thomas, he ended up pushing me on the ground, and the way he pushed me, I fell on my side. And the craziest thing happened. This like even when I broke my arm, even when I broke my arm years prior with the TV falling on me, it didn't happen the way my arm ain't shake or nothing happened the way it happened when he pushed me on the gym room floor. So I'm just thinking that it's just gonna be a little push or whatever. I get over and I'll probably get up and whoop his ass or tell the gym teacher or somebody knows that he pushed me. So I'm just laying on the ground, and next thing I know, my this whole arm was just shaking like I was having a seizure. The rest of my body was fine, but this arm was just shaking like I was having a seizure. And when people seen that I was on the floor, everybody coming up to me like, "Are you okay? What happened? Who did it?" So I'm just saying that fat bitch or that fat bastard pushed me. My bad, y'all. That's my phone. And with me, and I always was cursing. So if I'm saying fat bitch or fat bastard, they already know who I was referring to. I believe my gym teacher was they used to call him Coach K, Mr. Kurgan, I believe. So everybody coming up to me, they helping me up. And I think he's the one who noticed like my arm wouldn't stop shaking. He thought that I was doing it on purpose. And I'm like, it's not me. It would not stop shaking and it hurts. So they rushing me out the gym room, rushed me to the nurse. My arm still just shaking. Everybody trying to get it to stop. She wrap it up, give me some ginger ale, soup and crackers. Now I'm needing help getting on the bus because I was walking. I was pretty much using this arm, still trying to hold my ginger ale, my soup, and my crackers. Even though we wasn't supposed to be eating or drinking on the bus, but they didn't let me pass once they realized I was hurt. Now everybody on the bus asking what happened to you because I done been through fights and all, but once I got on the bus, you couldn't tell nothing happened to me up until that day. Now, don't get me wrong. I done got in fights where I probably had a black eye or a chipped tooth, or I done been in situations where my hair got pulled out. But um, yeah. So once they see me leaving the school and getting on the bus, everybody asking like, "What happened to you? Are you okay?" My arm was, I'm like, my wrist was sprained. So I was going. I had to go to the doctors. I came back. I couldn't. I don't know why I had to go to school because I couldn't do no work. My wrist was sprained, and I was all wrapped up, so I couldn't do no work. I was just going to school, just go to school, and I can't write with this hand. Thank God I had a friend. My friend Justin. He pretty much was helping me do the work that I couldn't do. I pretty much appreciate him for that because he didn't have to. He had his own work to do, but he pretty much was helping me. Um, and from that moment on, my hand never been the same. Ever since that push, it just got to the point where I can't like. I'd rather type. I don't like writing because my hands start hurting. And I used to write all the time, no matter how sloppy my handwriting may have been. I used to write all the time, but ever since then, I don't know how I got through school because every time I had to write, I try to draw, whatever. It would get to a point where eventually my hands start cramping up. It was crazy. I don't know how I got from reading the R. Kelly book. Now I'm over here telling my childhood stories. Anywho, so yeah. So that's what happened. He pushed me. And then when I came back to school, my friend Evan, who was absent during that day, I think Evan was still in the same classroom as us. But I had a friend named Evan. He ended up asking me was I all right and whatever the case may be. And he found out what happened. And he is wondering why I wasn't on the bus or why I was absent or whatever. And they had telling him what happened. And he told me that he ended up whooping Thomas' ass. You didn't have to because he was still feeling the effects of that slack. I mean, I appreciate you for doing so because you were my friend and you did have my back. When you felt like people was getting on my case and bothering me. Um, yeah, don't get me wrong. Like I couldn't stand Delta. I ain't never gonna lie. I couldn't stand that damn school. I had a few friends here and there. Some of them had my back. Some were enemies and later on turned friends. As for Evan, we never had any arguments that I remember. I don't think we ever had any arguments. We never fought, nothing. People tried to get him not to like me and they tried to make him switch his ways towards me, but from the first time I met him to the last time we seen each other, we never had any issues. Now, I mean, I think people used to be jealous of me and his friendship. But I don't really know how we became friends. It just was to the point where he was a new student in the classroom. And from the first time he saw me, we were just cool. I don't know what it was about me, but we just end up being homies. Now he might have had better friendships with everybody else because it wasn't to the point like me and him talking after school and he calling my phone or I'm calling his phone or we talking on social media or anything like that. But the thing is, we were cool to a point where every time I got on the bus, like he would come, like if I was taking too long, he'd be the type of person that walk down the block and knock on my door to see if I was going to school that day or not. Um, if anybody was picking on me and he felt like that I couldn't handle him, he'd be the type of person to tell him to leave me alone. Like we was real cool. Out of all the people I knew in Delta and people that I've seen as friends, he's probably the only one that I never had any issues with. Um, but yeah, so that was that story. But I'm about to get off here. I've been on here for a whole hour trying to read this book and giving y'all childhood stories. I'll get back to y'all in another video. Deuces. Please like, comment, subscribe. Hit the bell to be notified. And if y'all want to hear more about R. Kelly or my childhood stories or whatever the case may be, y'all already know what to do. But like I said, I've been on here for a whole hour. I'm about to get off. I'll talk to y'all later.